Thank you so much for joining the We Don't Play podcast show today, Shara. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for joining this amazing space, this community, this episode, and just being here with us to shine your light on people who want to learn about the road to success when you're using LinkedIn and connecting with passion and connecting with intention. So I'm glad that you're here to, give us those gems today.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Whatever I can give to help people get on the platform and learn to leverage the platform. I'm definitely all about LinkedIn among many platforms that I'm on. LinkedIn is one of my favorites, so I'm a little biased. But yes, thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. And before we even continue, I just wanted to say congratulations to you on, getting the LinkedIn, I think it's a banner, or you have like a nice, it's like a nice quote from you about the review on LinkedIn. And when people go there, they should be able to see, and then you are there. So I just wanted to shout you out and give you your flowers for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's just, I was featured on, well, I'm still there, featured on LinkedIn's company page as one of their, I guess, how I want to say it, one of their LinkedIn premium members who have used LinkedIn in a way beyond just the feature what it's known for to help people get visible for jobs. I end up building my brand through LinkedIn up to $500,000. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
That was the story.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Let's roll back the times, and let people know, like, where did Shara start? What was your defining moment, and how did it go from there?
Oh, man. So I guess I've been on LinkedIn for about 14, 15 years. If I were to go back, probably 2018, 2019, I started getting on there as a burnt out therapist. I had a profile like many others that was more of a resume. So I started getting on there, trying to connect with people and just sharing stories about mental health. Now, this is 2018 where I don't know if you ever heard of LinkedIn articles. Back then, they were a big thing. Right now, it's LinkedIn newsletters. But back then, it was an article. So I started putting out articles about mental health. I'm a therapist, so I was talking about my military story, being a former military wife, and having that type of background and wanting to talk about the impact of mental health on that population. So I ended up putting out articles, and people were really responding to the stories of talking about my own journey as a former military wife. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start telling more stories now. I hadn't showed my face on LinkedIn, but I was just posting more mental health advocacy pieces. And I amassed a following of about 30,000 at the time. This is the end of 2018, going into 2019. And after that, I ran into an influencer. Her name was Shanae. Shanae had about 1 million followers at the time, around 2019. She saw my profile. She was doing a LinkedIn audit. And she said, okay, you have a really good profile, but no one knows who you are, and no one's going to hear you or see or even trust you if you don't show up. I said, what do you mean? I need you to go ahead and do video for at least 60 to 90 days. And I said, oh, I don't have time for that. What do you mean? I got 3 kids. So in the back of my head, when he said that, I was like, I don't have any time. But it was a lot of my own fear of showing up on video. So I said, you know what, fine. So I jumped on video my first time, talking about how just uncomfortable I was doing video. And it pretty much took off from there. For a whole entire year, I did video. Every year, whether it was cooking, cleaning, deep frying turkey, it didn't matter what it was. I would just jump on for like a second and talk about some of the things either I was going through or just life. It was nothing really in particular that I remember. It was just me. Sorry, I'm a little congested. Me showing up on video, just sharing my life. Now, at the time, I was going through pretty much a tough time. I had just failed an exam, a board exam that I needed to pass to go to private practice. And after failing that exam, I shared that experience on LinkedIn. So for a whole year, I was pretty depressed, had lost my job, was home with 3 kids, really not doing very well. I had to get on medical assistance at one point. And I shared that story every day of what I was going through. And a lot of people were following me because it was like watching TV every day. What what is Shara going to get into next? What is she talking about? My son Jaden would pop up in my videos all the time. So I would be cooking, cleaning, doing home, whatever. And I think because of that time of me being on video that whole year, when I actually passed my board exams, it hit like over 100, maybe I think it was like 125K in views. And at that time, I didn't know, like in my role, I was like, oh man, that's viral. And I didn't even know, for me, it was. I had never seen a post that went that hard in terms of analytics. So what the post was we share my journey, taking 10 years to pass a board exam that takes 2 years. And it blew up because of some of the pieces that I talked about, losing a baby, having another baby that was medically compromised, my divorce, becoming a single mom, just trying to climb the ladder of rebuilding my career. It took about 10 years to do that. So when I finally get to my exam, I fail it by 2 points, which was devastating for me at the time. And then for me to pass a year later and people saw that, they knew that journey when I went through that for that entire year because they watched it. And then from there, I decided once I passed my exam to try to just help people out on Clubhouse. I started sharing my journey more. I built a small study group. That study group became a funneling system. For about 6 months, I did nothing but help people pass their board exams for free. And I ended up turning into a business on it the 6th month that I was in Clubhouse. And my business pretty much took off. I made about 120K in about 7 months. And then it went from 7 months, 6 figures to $500,000 in 3 years, leveraging LinkedIn and 7 other platforms, including podcasting. That's a short story. With LinkedIn especially, I have gotten many opportunities, such as still going through the process of being in Wikipedia. I'm one of the final stages. I was invited through LinkedIn, through a Wikipedia team, being in LinkedIn News, being in different publications, having my first international speaking engagement paid to come, and I didn't even ask for it. Positioning myself as the go-to person in my field. It's been quite a ride. Getting my first business award was through LinkedIn. Just lots of magic. Being a part of the LinkedIn advisor community was another one of those. Being a top voice in social work. So that platform has literally changed my life. I can literally say that because of how I started to use it. So I'm going to pause because I am struggling with congestion. I'm going to take a moment to breathe and drink some water. But Favor, definitely ask me any questions that you have.
No, this is so good. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot of people are already taking that all in. First of all, you are so resilient in all the things that you've done. When people think about success, they forget about the failures people have to go through, the trial, the tribulations, the things that people don't see. You can see that beautiful tree from a mile away, but you didn't know that it was going through wind and hailstones and sun and being beat up, but at the end of the day, it's like a diamond. You come out better, you come out stronger, and people appreciate the shine because they don't know what it took to get there. So just hearing this story is just highly enlightening for me and also for our audience. Because I know a lot of people, their first question now is, I'm on LinkedIn, I don't know what to do. I've been there for years. I don't know how to set it up. I don't know what to add, what to take off, how to even connect with people. Do people see me? I'm posting, no one is connecting. So I think a lot of people too, when I just think about everyone in general, most times people are on LinkedIn to make connections, but they're getting spam requests. And then they're also getting a lot of people who are not connecting with them genuinely, from their timeline. So how does someone that is really particular about business or even want to get a job, how can they align themselves so they're not caught up or just stuck in between the threads?
With LinkedIn especially, it's really, again, unlike other platforms, building relationships with people, whether you're building a brand there, you have your own entrepreneurship journey, as I did, or you're just trying to build your professional presence. LinkedIn does have a couple of things where they reward a lot of content creators. If you're looking for jobs, it's really about making sure your profile is visible, filled out, making sure you have a banner, making sure you have a professional photo. And it's more than just a profile. It's like a landing. I always look at it like a calling card landing page. What are the skills you want to showcase? You do, if you want visibility, you do need to be active on the platform. It's not one of those things where you just post and ghost, or you just put up your profile expected to do something when it's not going to do anything. There are different features of LinkedIn Premium. There's LinkedIn Sales Navigator for someone that's looking for needs. But it really depends on what you're on there for. If you're looking for jobs, then it's going to be about making sure you build out, optimize your LinkedIn profile. It's going to be having a very personal way of building that in terms of being visible. Some people hate being on video. Well, what about showcasing your talents, showcasing your skill sets? What have you done? What are you passionate about in regards to your field? How can you contribute to the organization that you are seeking? Recruiters are on there all the time, looking for talent, building those connections. And with LinkedIn, unlike any other platform, you can connect to the decision makers. So for most people who are looking for jobs, sometimes they're at jobs where they're like trying to be sneaky about it. With LinkedIn, it's really about building not only your professional presence, but what's your personal brand. You can build out a personal brand even when you're actively still working with a position. It's more so about you positioning yourself on a platform and just talking about your passion for your field of interest and really turning LinkedIn into what you want it to be. It's a professional platform, but you're still dealing with human beings. You're still dealing with people. And for me, I've used the platform in many ways, whether it was if I wanted to get a full-time job as a therapist, which I don't. I turn down six-figure jobs on LinkedIn all the time, but I'm well positioned on there and I'm easily visible. So some people make the mistake of not being actively engaged, building their community, showcasing their talent, or if they're too shy to show up, posting content regarding their interests and what they're looking for. So, and also engaging with other people's content. Usually it's the easiest way of trying to amass visibility as well. Went from 500 to 30K and I have never showed my face, never been visible. That was years ago. It still rings true. You can still build up quite a visibility if you're engaged and active. So even if you're not on a platform showing your face all the time like me, but there's various ways. That's probably like a whole class paper. But I'm trying not to go into certain features or techniques in using LinkedIn because then I'll feel like I'm going down the rabbit hole where I'm on here more than the time that I'm allotted here. So optimize profiles, 1. 2, engage with the audience that you have through commenting on their content. If you're looking for work, LinkedIn Premium is a very good feature to help you become visible, and you can apply for jobs and see how many applications are going to a certain interest or employer that you're interested in. There's a lot of different features in terms of they implement a lot of AI when it comes to optimization, so that can help you as well. But at this point, no one should be without an active LinkedIn page. Not even if you're an entrepreneur or even a company. Even Beyonce's Whiskey, she has a company page that just started a couple of days ago. I've been following that man. But it's one of those things that to get to the decision makers, again, unlike any other platform, that's the place that you want to be in terms of getting that visibility, building that personal brand, connecting with those decision makers and getting noticed. Instead of letting your resume going down a black hole of ATS or, those type of machines that look for keywords and resumes. LinkedIn is definitely a place where if you're looking for work, it's just knowing how to leverage the platform for your own gain and how you uniquely want to show up. And every platform, besides LinkedIn, has those social media nuances of what you need to do to be visible. I think with LinkedIn, people make it a little bit more complicated because it's a professional platform. I've used it a mixture of professional, a mixture of personal, and letting people get to know me beyond just that profile, which a lot of people feel that they do because they've been following me for years. So how you want to show up on LinkedIn, how far you want to go with the platform is really up to what is your vision for getting on the platform and what is your focal point for being active.
I love that. Thank you so much for clarifying that too, because, people go on the platform for different things. Some people may be business owners, but they also want to work a job. They may want to do both, and they're wondering, hey, is my profile revealing? Is my profile concealing? So people don't know how to, connect. Is it better for someone to have more than one LinkedIn account, just like people have more than one email, more than one, Instagram account? Or is it just better to find a way?
It's a lot of people have different preferences. Me, I have a company page that's connected to my personal page. But for me, some people do two profiles for various reasons. I'm like, that's too much. But for me, I just have one. My personal and professional coincide together. And maybe that's also because of the background that I have as a therapist, mental health advocate. I talk about a lot of different things. Some people may not be that comfortable. So some people may make two profiles. Good luck, because I don't know how you manage two profiles unless you have a social media manager. But I can only have one. My company page is usually a professional reflection of a tiny piece of my main profile, because I'll have different types of posts that are professional. And everybody in my 62,000 network knows that I have a parent that's going through terminal cancer. So I talk about a mixture of content besides my business. So for me personally, I find them to be one and the same. It's just easier for me to be able to merge both instead of just having just two different profiles. But it really depends, again, on what your goal is on the platform and where you want to take your presence on the platform.
Thank you for clarifying that, because I think some people also, have a second profile to make it a company profile, not knowing that there's a company profile attached. How important is it for businesses, even if you're a barbershop, a restaurant, a hotel, an actual corporation, even a small business, how important is it to have a LinkedIn company profile that you can even have a newsletter for?
I'm like, I couldn't even get the word out. Very, very important, because a lot of your clients can be there. I get clients all the time on my company page. They'll send me direct emails, inbox, directly of people that are interested in the services that I do. But it's connected to my primary profile, which gets a lot of visibility. Hence, my company profile gets a lot of visibility. Companies, I think it's very important because it's like a website, a landing page for your company. You should have one to showcase what you do, to showcase the impact your company is having on the people that you're providing services for. So that's a no-brainer for me.
No, I love that. No, thank you so much for highlighting that too. There's something I also wanted to tackle on LinkedIn that a lot of people also I think they're skeptical about, but they don't know how to even achieve it. There's the top voice, the blue one, and then there's the orange one. So people kind of say, no, you got the orange one, it's not that important, but it's so important. And then the blue one is important too. So how do people achieve them, get them, if that's their goal, or do they just have to be themselves and let LinkedIn pick them out?
Well, I don't have a blue one yet, so I know Yvonne does, but I don't have the blue one yet. Hopefully, they only give out, I think, like 300 of those a year or something like that every year. So I'm hoping I'll be next, since I was on their company page. So I was like, I'm hoping I'm next.
You will.
But there is a difference. The blue badge is the creme de la creme. That's the one that usually celebrities or powerful thought leaders that Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Lisa Nichols. I don't even know. No, Lisa Nichols, I don't think she has one. But those type of people have those badges. It signifies to people on the platform that these are people that have powerful influence in their industry, have made a grand impact. And LinkedIn has given them that badge and recognition. It's invitation only. So that's the one that people are talking about. Now, the community badge, Top Voice community badge, that yellow one, that one depends on how you feel about it. That one does help with visibility a lot. It does help with giving you visibility in terms of your niche. I have three of them right now. So I think Top Voice and Social, Thought Leadership, and there's one more that I can't think of right now, Entrepreneurship. So there's the three that I have. Now, when it comes to my profile and my searchability for those three topics, I'm easily found. So it does help in terms of being able to be found by recruiters and by people that are looking for your talent and your niche. So that Top Voice community badge, it just increases your visibility and it helps your content get further reach and reach your audience more. So it does help in that way. Now, some people are like, oh, this community badge, like everyone has it or whatever. Yes, it's not as prominent. It's not as selective as that blue badge. But depending on what your goal is, if it's visibility, definitely a good idea. If it's branding, definitely a good idea. You do have to contribute to their contribution articles, and that's more like giving feedback about knowledge about certain topics, subtopics within your area of expertise. But you do a couple of those a week or a month to maintain the badge. But I do think it is a good idea to get it for someone that's serious about their visibility, positioning, and branding on LinkedIn. Especially if you're an entrepreneur, especially if you're someone that's looking for work, it's probably a good idea because it does help in terms of your visibility. And it does help in terms of, it's one of the first things they see on your page when they click on it, knowing that you're a top voice in that industry and you're knowledgeable. It does give recognition in that regard. And of course, they give you, I think it's like 60 or 90 days, I can't remember, before they reassess that. The blue badge, you keep that for as long as LinkedIn allows. I haven't seen anybody lose it. Well, one person lose it, but that's because they didn't maintain integrity with their niche. But with the community badge, which is what you're referencing, a yellow one, there is a maintenance on it. You have to continue to contribute knowledge to your field through those articles, collaborative articles, they call them. But I think in terms of what they do for you, the benefits outweigh any cons that I think people can think of.
Wow. Thank you so much for highlighting that and, getting people to understand those things because they don't have time to read it or go to the blogs, resources. So it's hard for them to, pay attention to that. So this also helps people to gain more insight. So I really appreciate that. Two more quick questions. The first one is, when it comes to your profile on LinkedIn, how important is it to have recommendations and reviews? And if there's a difference, how do they work?
So the recommendations, if you get LinkedIn Premium, there's a feature where those recommendations are put into, I think, right into your features section where you can have your sales showcase. Some people that have LinkedIn Premium have the features at the front. They're underneath their headliner, right before their summary section. Some people have it at the very bottom. I think for me, even though I have LinkedIn Premium, my recommendations are at the bottom, but they are important. They're like, it gives your brand authenticity and it gives it's more, not saying more clout, but it gives you more trust for people to know who have seen your work, that have experienced your work to give you feedback. And for others that may be on your page, especially if they're looking for a service business or you're coaching or you have a company, those recommendations are definitely important for you to build trust with your audience of people that you don't even know. They're just landing on your page. It's just like if you were to land on the website, you can see like the recommendations that people have given. You'll start trusting those and then with LinkedIn or a recommendation, you can see the relationship between the person. You can see the date. You can see their connection, because you need to be a connection in order to give a recommendation to that person. You have to be connected to them. So it gives another level of trust factor to your profile and your niche of the work that you've done. And you want to keep those current. So every time you do a job or something with a client, ask them for a recommendation that can go on your LinkedIn page. It does help in terms of building that trust. I make sure I get fresh ones every time I have somebody pass their board exams, if they're active on LinkedIn or if they're there. Let's make sure that I do, because it keeps your that trust factor fresh, and your recommendations are not like years old. You know what I mean? It's like getting new recommendations for a job interview, right? They ask you for a list of references. Same thing.
I love that. Thank you so much for that insight. A lot of people don't use it much, but it's available. And if you use it, you can really get a lot of attention too. Wow, this has been great. I know people want to, connect with you. They want to learn from you before they even get to your contact. What should they be thinking about before they even connect with you? If they want to hit that follow, that connect, what should their mental state of mind be so they're prepared to talk with Shara?
That's a good question. I think it depends on why they're trying to connect in the first place. Besides my actual company, people connect with me for a variety of reasons. I probably would say I'm not what people expect. A lot of people, they'll see my content and think I'm this all serious former therapist with all this stuff or knowledge, but I also like to have fun in my calls. So people don't really expect that part, but I'm pretty open. It really, if they're talking about LinkedIn, I do give as much feedback as I can. You know that, favor being in different rooms with me. I try to give as much gems of knowledge as I can. But I'm pretty open. I mean, depending on what you're calling me about, just be prepared for a little bit of shenanigans, because I do love to ask questions to get to your pain points. But that's about it. I mean, I'm pretty open spirit, I would think. Don't want people to be scared to contact me if they have questions about LinkedIn, business related, or just my company and what I do. So be open.
Yeah, thank you, Shara. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited that we connected here too, because we've talked on Clubhouse a lot, but we've never had a chance to have this one-on-one, because we're always in rooms and there's everybody talking. So this is quiet. Yeah. It's nice.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to connect off of audio apps. We've been hanging around in audio apps for quite a bit. It was nice to connect off in that way.
Same here. Thank you. Thank you for joining the We Don't Play podcast show today. I know a lot of people want to connect with you. They want to learn from you. You have a podcast too. Tell them what they could do so they can just tap in and make sure that they're connected all the way.
So I would say I'm on 7 different platforms. So I do have a podcast. It's named after my company, Journey Licensure. It's mostly, the podcast is mostly for social workers, because I am one. But you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn, of course. We've been talking about LinkedIn for a bit. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, Chatter, Clubhouse. Yeah, I think those are all the big ones. So yeah, you can find me on any one of those platforms. I'm pretty Googleable, so you can pretty much find me anywhere.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining on the show today, Shara. I appreciate you, and I look forward to bringing you back on the show very soon.
Well, thank you for having me.
Anytime.